welcome to From the Museum, and today we are looking at the Marshall Class 5. Sat here with Steve Dawson, who had a little bit to do with this amp, mate, I think it's safe to say. You designed the thing.
Yes.
Yeah. So, Class 5, 5-watt amp, combo. What's the story behind it?
At the time, the 5-watt amps were in vogue. There's quite a few companies had released 5-watt amps. And the last time Marshall had done something like this was in the early 70s with the Mercury.
Right, okay.
And hadn't really looked at that platform since. So I thought, you know, let's do this. It's in fashion again. It's in vogue. So we have to bring something out that's going to be worthy of the Marshall.
I guess typically, you know, valve amps were big rigs, weren't they? And a lot of this size combos were tended to be solid state, just practice amps, didn't they? There wasn't really a lot going on as far as a valve.
A lot of the time, yes. But there was other companies bringing out valve 5-watt amps.
Yeah.
And it would have been silly for Marshall not to do that. I mean, basically, what I tried to do here was try to get the sound of a cooking plexi in 5-watt format, which is what a lot of people wanted.
Right.
Because, you know, nobody can actually turn a plexi up to its full 100 watts in most situations that they're playing. This, you know, was a way of sort of, you know, getting that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know? It doesn't sound like a plexi, but it sounds.
But it's got that flavour.
It's got that flavour. It's got that flavour, and it doesn't matter because if it's a good sound, it's a good sound. You know, it doesn't matter if it sounds like this or sounds like that. At the end of the day, when you design something, you don't design it to sound like something else. What's the point?
Yeah.
You design something to sound good.
Yeah.
And if it sounds good, that's what matters.
So it's 5 watts. 5 watts is still loud, isn't it?
5 watts it's not a house amp. I mean, it has a setting on it that changes it to a house volume.
Yeah.
But 5 watts is actually half as loud as a 50-watt amp.
Okay.
In real terms.
There's people trying to do maths with that, isn't it? But it doesn't really work like that, does it?
It's a logarithmic thing.
Yeah.
But if you plug the output into a 4x12, you'll see that'll become more apparent.
So there's a low power button on the back, isn't there? So you can drop it down. What's it drop it down to roughly?
It drops it down to about 0.2 watts.
Wow. Okay.
Something that which is a realistic house volume.
Yes.
But you know, let's say late at night when you don't want to disturb the neighbour, 0.1, 0.2 watts.
Yeah. Okay. And it's all valve.
It's all valve.
What valves are in there?
There's an EL84.
Yep.
And the output an ACC83s.
Okay.
And the preamp.
Speaker-wise?
Speaker-wise was a Celestion 10-inch.
Yeah.
Which for 5 watts is quite a nice size. I actually had a friend with a particularly nice old Marshall combo with a couple of 10-inch Celestions in, and I took them across to Celestion for them to do some measurements, you know, because I really liked the sound of those 10-inch Celestions. Okay. And I said that's where I would like for these amps. So they actually.
Oh, okay.
They did develop the speaker
for this amp.
For this amp.
Okay.
That. So yeah, I mean, you know, like I say, it was just a case. Let's just make a 5-watt amp. That sounds.
They look great as well, don't they? It's that classic Marshall vintage vibe.
Obviously, always important.
Yeah.
Always important. The first one had the panel on the front, the prototype, if you like, but then it changed to the the top format, which is far more practical for an amp this size.
And it was UK made?
UK made.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That was really important as well, you know. And that's that was the difference, because most of the others, I'd say most of the others, a lot of the others were made in the Far East.
Right.
Nothing wrong with getting things made in the Far East. I mean, you can get some great quality stuff if you're on top of the quality control. But there's something about the kudos of a Marshall amp made in Milton Keynes, Bletchley. And so this had it all, you know, and this is a 5-watt Marshall that you could just crank up.
And you can connect it to like a 4x12 or any cabinet you want anyway.
You can drive a 4x12. It obviously moves more air.
Yeah.
So people do use it like that as well, you know. But I mean, you won't get much of a solo boost from this. But if you're just playing rhythm, dirty rhythm,
yeah,
you could quite happily. This will hold its own against.
There's something to be said, isn't there, though, for that? You know, some people like the headroom. Some people don't. Actually, they want less headroom. It's a different feel. It's a different sound.
It won't give you much clean headroom because obviously clean depends on headroom.
Sure.
So 5 watts of clean headroom isn't a lot.
No.
Nor if you're serious about your clean sound.
No.
So it's not. It's meant to just, you know, give you that what we've just been doing.
Yeah.
You know, just having fun with the dirty old Marshall.
That's it. Yeah.